So I'll give you all a couple more minutes to come in. I'll just get going with my first sort of piece of this. I thought I was done with Venn diagrams when I left high school, but when I was thinking about this webinar, I thought, I think there's space for one more. I know that this is likely the busiest time of year. That's one side of the Venn diagram. It's also, for that reason, a time you're less likely to do marketing, probably don't feel like you have the time, right? So those are the two pieces of the Venn diagram. And then the news I have for you today is, unfortunately, it's probably the best time to do marketing, though. You've likely just delivered a good service, ticked off some projects, maybe saved someone some tax, all that sort of stuff. So it's a perfect time to plan ahead as well. So that's what I'm going to be talking through in more detail today. At Bizink, we help accountants with the entire marketing journey, though. So on screen, you can see the framework we follow and what we use to encourage firms to create a complete marketing plan. So you can see we're focusing on not just growth, which is probably one of the main goals for most of the accounting and bookkeeping firms that we talk to. So it's not just growth, though. It's, the whole marketing life cycle here, like you can see on screen, from leads through to loyalty. So from potential clients through to keeping existing clients as well. So just FYI, if there's existing clients of Bizink on this webinar today as well, we've added in a lot of other ways we can help you recently too. So it's not just the life cycle that we recommend. We can now help you with all these stages too. So even things like case studies and those sorts of services we've added in recently too. But today we're going to be talking about the engage portion of this framework, the leads to loyalty framework, for most of today, as we're talking about simple marketing campaigns you can send, and 4 out of the 5 relate to things you can do with existing clients, because there's a lot of quick wins there. It's where I'd recommend most of you should be starting. So we'll be talking about simple campaigns you can do to them, and there is also another one at the end that we'll get to, which will be a slightly different focus, but still fit within this framework. So that would be more on the attract section. So let's get into it. You may have heard us quote this Picasso quote in other webinars too: good artists copy, great artists steal. Our CEO, Matt, particularly believes there's no original marketing ideas in the world anymore. If you think you've come up with one, it's probably unlikely. So it's best to follow the marketing strategies that are proven to work. And that's the whole idea with what we're doing here today. Is we've seen these campaigns work. We know all accounting firms should do them, but we know many won't, or don't have the resources all the time, or just the skills to get these things written and that sort of stuff. So that's why we're doing this today. I encourage you to steal all the 5 campaigns I'm talking about today, and we've seen them work for several hundred firms across the world. So I've just got a question. Yep, this session is being recorded, so we can email it to you. Yep, no worries at all. So I've just got a quick poll before we get into this. Let's launch this, bear with me. So that should be on your screens now. If you don't mind just answering that for me quickly. What's your number one goal for this next upcoming year? Is it growth? Is it adding more clients? Is it just not losing any? I know there's things going on in the world at the moment. Is it selling more to existing clients? Or maybe just keeping in touch with existing clients, or client communication, I guess, really there. Maybe become a social media influencer. Or, if there's something else, just let us know in the chat. If there's another goal that's important to you this financial year, we'll see if we have resources or any suggestions on helping you get there. So I'll just give you another minute to fill in that, just a couple more people to do that then, and then I'll share the results with you on screen. If I can figure out end poll and share that with you. So it looks like the majority are adding more clients, which probably makes sense. Like I said, we're on a marketing webinar today. That's your main goal, is to sell more to them, and other important ones. Adding more clients, and the other important ones being selling more and keeping in touch with clients, as well as not losing any, of course. So thanks for participating in that. We're obviously going to be focusing on clients today, like I mentioned, but there definitely is a growth section to this webinar too, and probably a whole nother webinar topic that is on how existing clients and keeping them close to you will lead to growth as well. As you all know, most of you will be getting referrals. So there's a lot to unpack in that as well. So thanks very much for answering that. And if you have any other comments on what your goals might be, feel free to let us know in the chat as we go along. Send through any questions you might have as we go as well. There will be time for a Q&A at the end, but I can glance at them as we go if it's relevant. So most of you probably know me. I'm part of the Bizink team for a while now, and working as head of growth in the marketing and sales team. So I've worked exclusively with accountants and bookkeepers for the last 5 years now. So I'm here to share what I've learned from talking with many of you over the years and what marketing we've seen to work and not work or work best. So let's get into campaign number 1, shall we? So the first one is asking for feedback. So like I said, the first 4 will focus on things you can send to your existing clients. I just feel it's a great time to ask for feedback when you've just completed a project. This sort of thing just seems to make sense to me, post year end. It's also just good practice to ask what clients think, so you know how they actually feel about your services. There's a lot that probably gets lost to assumption, and don't assume all things are good. Just often because people won't open up until they're prompted, it's good to ask directly. And that's why it's also a good time to do marketing, because there's firms out there, right, that won't have done a good job, and they would have neglected to even get feedback from their existing clients. So just think of the broader scope as well here. And regardless of whether it's good or bad feedback, it's valuable feedback. You will benefit from hearing it, even if you might not want to with some of the bad feedback. But if it's bad feedback, obviously it gives you an opportunity to improve and work on whatever it is they've said. We use NPS at Bizink. Some of you may have used that with us as well. So that's where you rate 1 to 10, 1 to 6 are detractors, and forget what the top ones are called. I'm blanking on the webinar right now, but like promoters, I believe. Yeah, net promoter score, obviously. And so we got a 6 recently, and we called him. This is what's called closing the loop, right? And we called him to chat about what the comment was that he put in there, and it was actually a feature request that he wanted in the back end. So we talked through it, scoped it out, and we actually added this feature. So as a result of what was initially an unhappy client, a detractor in this scale, he then gave us a 10 after we implemented the feature request, and it's actually improved our whole product as a whole, right? So if you can try and think of it as a way to improve your service offering too, don't necessarily think of it as bad feedback and that it's sort of a full stop closed door. Then it's definitely opens up opportunities there. So it's a good way to close that off, to find out what actually is going on and if you can do anything there. Obviously, if it's good feedback, that's reaffirming to you, reaffirming to your team. I think that's something we do really well at Bizink, is sharing great feedback with the team and whoever was involved in the project. So it just helps you stop and think about the good work you've done. It reinforces you that you are on the right track as well, and you might be able to share that online too. So I know asking for feedback is one of those things that's quite easy to put off, but even just the process of asking for it can show to your clients that you actually care about them and their insights, and you want to find out how it's gone for them. So I think even just for that reason, it's a valuable one to consider this time of year. And we've got our first giveaway in association with this too. So what we will be giving you is the email template to help you ask for this feedback. So John, I know you've put a question in the Q&A about this as well. How do I actually ask for feedback? Is there a form on our website we can send? So John's a Bizink website client, so we can add the form to your website for sure. So what there is an email template. So that's just available to anyone on this webinar today. So that what we'd suggest you say to ask for these things, we'd recommend to capture that feedback like a form or something like that. It could just be, email us back or something like that if you want, if you don't have the sort of systems in place. But Bizink website clients can get the form added to their site for free. So we'll make a note to get in touch with you, John, as well about this, to add it to your site if you don't already have it. So it's a form in the back end that we've got preset like recommended questions that we put in there, and then you can change it if you want to, reword the question or add your own, maybe you've done a particular service or something like that you want to ask about. So feel free to do that. You put that on a page on your website and then send out the email template with a link to complete the feedback form. Don't make it too long, because you do actually want to, not put too many barriers in the way to them actually filling in that form. So yeah, let us know if you're a Bizink client, if you would like that added to your site. If you're not and you're interested in it, again, send me a message and we can chat and see what we can do in our other systems as well. But that's what I'd recommend. So I should have moved on. Here's the template we've actually written for you on the next slide here. So all the templates will be in the Google Doc we've just sent. In terms of how you would actually send these, if you have a larger client base, I would probably send them out of Bizink email marketing system, or a bulk emailing marketing tool like MailChimp, or like Constant Contact, Active Campaign. Those are the sort of common ones I hear. We obviously have a email marketing system that we've designed for accountants, which has these sorts of templates. If you have a smaller client base, or you're only going to send it to a select few, you could just send it from Outlook or Gmail and really personalize each email if you want to. So you can see this one on screen references a short client survey, and that's where I would put the link to the page on your website for Bizink clients anyway. So let me know if you have any questions about that first one. Otherwise, I'll move on to this second one, which is asking for a review. So I know, Stephen, you've asked is this better than case studies? Case studies are, I quite like them. They're really, really valuable in marketing. You can use them on your website and stuff. Whereas what we were just talking about with asking for a review is more probably for internal feedback. What we're asking for feedback. And now we're asking for reviews, which will go online. And the next one after that might answer your question a bit more. So we'll come back to that one. So asking for a review, this is sort of a two-parter, because you give the template for both Google and Facebook reviews. So you would use this when you're looking to build like social proof about the work that you do and how you've helped clients. I actually got an email from Ryan Lozenis this week. Some of you may be on his email marketing list and that sort of stuff as well. I think he said something like 91% of business owners, or maybe it was just people, like customers, do this before engaging with a new business, and that thing is to look at reviews. So it's pretty powerful. There's a lot of research on that as well. Obviously, typically for things like restaurants and those sort of stuff, we're all probably looking at reviews for those sorts of things, accommodation, those sorts of things, but definitely becoming more and more for, professional services and things like that too. Many people turn to these sorts of things to make important business decisions, and having, positive Google reviews can do a lot to help increase your credibility and, even improve your Google search rankings, particularly for obviously the Google reviews. And they don't cost anything. If you've got happy clients, go ahead and ask for them. If you've got a few that would give you a review, again, they're probably not going to rush off and review you just because you did their tax return, right? You got to ask for these things. It's not like that cool restaurant where you get a review just off the cuff. Clients don't really tend to get excited about this stuff, so you need to give them a polite shove, shall we say, and make it really easy for them to do that. Karen's just asked, can you ask the review to be put on LinkedIn? And just off the top of my head, I think there is trying to think what the section's called. Some of you might be able to help me, whether it's a recommendations section or there's some section on your personal profile that you can do that. I'm just not sure off the top of my head about LinkedIn company. Diane, who's helping me at the webinar today, might be able to, a bit better at social media than me, might be able to clarify that one. So we'll get back to you on if there's a section on the company page for reviews. I tend to think people would look more on Google and Facebook than LinkedIn, but that might just be me thinking that and where I go to look for these sorts of things. So I've just got a chat message. Yes, there are LinkedIn recommendations on personal profiles, which is, I think, usually like to say, yes, this person can do this work sort of thing that they're saying they can on their profile. So that could work if you're focusing on LinkedIn and if your clients are there and that sort of stuff. But yeah, the ones we've got here are typically Google and Facebook, which is more just, for your business as a whole, if that makes sense. Does anyone listening do anything to encourage these sorts of online reviews? I'm really keen if you could type into the chat and let me know what sort of things you're you're doing. I've heard in the past things like incentives, just thinking about restaurants, we got a 5% discount recently if you leave a Google review, or 10% or something like that. So I know there's like incentives like that out there. If anyone's doing anything like that, I'm keen to hear what you're doing, and if you have any questions about how that might work, we're keen to share those sorts of ideas. But I'll just quickly show you one of the templates we've got on screen. So this is the Google one. Like I said, there's actually 2 included in this campaign that we're giving away, asking for Google reviews and asking for a Facebook review as well. And I mentioned briefly that you should make it easy. And by that, I mean, step them through the instructions. So we've got a link to Google's instructions on how to leave feedback. You can even leave an example of what you're after if you want to do that. I'd prefer, maybe you just see what they come up with first, but you get both of those options in these as well. Thanks for sharing that, John. John says he's got links to leave a Google review in their email signatures. They've only got 1 so far after a few months though. So keen to hear what other people have tried, if they've got certain things like that. I would probably maybe directly ask a few clients next time you're chatting to them, like, on the phone or in person or however that goes. Again, there's a few campaigns in this, so maybe pick 1 or 2 that you're going to do to your clients. Would you rather ask them for a case study or a testimonial or review feedback? Maybe not all 4 in 1 week, right? So pick a couple that you're going to focus on, or 1, and then call them about that is probably my recommendation. So on to campaign number 3, generate more referrals. I think the thinking behind this campaign is probably quite familiar to you all. Word of mouth is great, and we all love referrals, right? So our research actually shows that 85% of accounting firms' clients come from referrals, but only 20% do something to try and get more referrals. Let me know if that sounds familiar to you at all, if that's the sort of situation you're in. I don't want you to be one of those people that sit back and wait for them to happen. It can be a bit like just relying on people if and when they're ready to send other people on, or when they know anyone that can use you. So there's no better time to ask for this stuff than when you've just done great work for a client, right? So assuming you've done that, you can use this next template to ask them for referrals. The thing that I think is cool about this template is that you can customize it, like you can see on screen with the arrow. You can ask for exactly the type of client you want, or at least let them know about your niche or who you focus on or your specialty, that sort of stuff. It's really worthwhile to just be clear about that so that they know, if you do and don't work with particular people. Obviously, it makes even more sense if you work with, what's the example on screen? Manufacturing or whatever. If you're contacting a manufacturing business, tell them, we'd like more clients like you. We've loved working with you for these reasons. It helped you in, these 3 ways, blah, blah, blah. So you can sort of button them up a little bit in that way too, and just let them know that, remind them that this is your specialty as well, if that's the way you want to go with it. We all know the power of niching, right? So it's how you can get more referrals in the verticals that you want. So you'll find this campaign in that same Google Doc we shared earlier. And I hope you can probably find this one fairly easy to get started with as well. If you're doing anything in particular to encourage referrals, again, really happy to hear what you're doing. And if you have any questions about that, we can chat in more detail too. So I hope you're feeling confident in the first 3 campaigns. On to the next one. The previous ones were mostly obviously about reviews and referrals and that sort of stuff. Now we're going to move into more like money makers, I guess, stuff that you can use to grow your firm's revenue and that sort of stuff. Obviously, what you're doing with this is trying to upsell, but you're basically letting clients know the other ways you can help them. That's as simple as it is. You can help more people. You can help existing clients in more ways. That's what we're trying to get to here. So you might have had someone come in at tax time, but you expect that they could also benefit from your, financial planning services or, payroll or something like that. When they've come in, it might have only been because of tax or because of, some other sort of entry point or problem. But you've identified, hey, they really need help with this, or I could really help them in this way, or then, just not taking up our range of services. This campaign gives you an opportunity to thank them for their business and also let them know about, you know, the other ways you can help and the other things you do. So just like the last template, you can customize this, of course, and with all of ours really. This one is more customizing it to the, you know, service mix your firm offers. You can see in the red text there is the ones we recommend you change. Obviously, like any marketing campaign, it's going to work best if you segment your list and target your leads. So like I said, if you've identified 10 or 20 or however many clients that you think could be suitable for X service, then you segment them and you only contact them about that and you repeat for the others. So while I'm showing you this as like a post-tax time and a financial year sort of campaign, I'm sure you can tell these can be run any time of year. It just often it makes sense to do it after you've done a project. You could definitely run this, any other time of year, of course. So if you identify that, you've had a client for a few months and you're starting to see that they could use your help in another way, for sure, run this at another time of year. I just want to ask you all a quick question though. Do all of your clients know about all of the services you offer? If you can type in the chat yes or no, or maybe another answer depending on your situation. Be keen to hear. I've asked this quite a few times and the answer I get is probably similar to what I'm getting in the chat right now. No, could benefit from a brochure, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Doubt it. They have no idea what we do most of the time. Yep, probably pretty true. Even if you've done a great job of that when they first came in, so if you do an initial consult and you talk through all the ways, maybe you have this great brochure and you talk through all the ways you can help, doesn't necessarily mean obviously that they're going to take them all up. You guys know that better than me. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to remember that either. They're busy business owners, right? And, probably a few months can go by before they, think about these things, or years even, before they might be at the time and place where they need that other help. Obviously, it obviously depends what they've currently got and if there's somebody else managing their payroll, all that other sort of stuff. But from what I'm hearing in the chat, I suspect, a lot of your clients could do with a little reminder of other ways you help. And I wouldn't be doing this as a real pushy thing. It's just, thanks again. We help with blah, blah, blah. Would you like to set up a call about it? Like you can see on screen. Again, you can edit the content to suit you. So I reckon you just need to be constantly communicating with your clients about the ways you can help them. That's really what this comes down to. It might seem like hassling them, but one email a month is fine. You can change the timing on that, of course, but that's probably what we'd recommend. It's repetition that will get the message across in the end. And like I'm saying, often it will just come down to timing. So I hope you'll try that one as well. And again, Diane's got the link in there to the free campaign templates as well. All right, the final campaign, we're shifting from existing clients. Like I said, most of it's been about engagement with existing clients. Now we're looking at prospects, which is where I think a bunch of you will probably be wanting to look at, given the goal you mentioned to me at the start, for most of you being to add new clients in. Obviously, like referrals and those other ones will do that too, but this is one where you can market to a niche. And the best way to grow is to niche and focus your marketing. Because if you're marketing to everybody, you're marketing to nobody. And again, this is a whole webinar in itself. We've got plenty of educational pieces on this. If you would like to, read any of that stuff or need a bit more guidance on that, definitely send us a message. We're very happy to do that. But we really encourage you to have a marketing niche, not necessarily to niche your whole firm. I'm not saying you go suddenly get rid of all your clients that you've just taken on or anything like that. It's just, your marketing should have a focus. Otherwise, it's not going to be as strong. It's just not going to have the same level of appeal if you're just talking to everyone's pain points, right? You're going to have to make them real general, and then that just stops working. So we really advise you to get a marketing niche. So how we would say to do this campaign is, say you focus on medical practices. That's what I'm hearing a lot of recently. Who knows, maybe it's because of what's been going on in the last few years, but say you focus on them. Once you've picked that niche, if we're thinking about doctors, for example, they're not just going to, wake up today and think, I'm going to search accountants for doctors, right? Like it's not just that they're going to get up and Google you necessarily. The power of having a niche is that you get to go speak to them directly and their challenges. because you've decided to take the time to understand what goes on in their business. You've likely worked with a few of them before. If you message them directly, whether that's by email or call or whatever that might be, and they're just working with like a normal generic accountant who doesn't specialize in their industry, and you come in and you understand what they're going through, that's the power right there. The other side of it is that you'll also know where to get them or how to find them, where they hang out, where they go to make, you know, business decisions. So you can go get in front of them in those places. And those two things together is a great foundation for good marketing, understanding your niche and then knowing where they are as well. So we've got, again, a whole lot of resources on this if you need help with what we'd call like the marketing blueprint, working out who you're going after, what they struggle with or pain points, and where you can find them. Those are the first three sections we talk about in our blueprint anyway. So once you have picked your niche, I'm sure many of you have already done this in recent years anyway as well. Once you've got that, put a bit more work into where you can find them, and then you can craft a message to go reach out to them, which is the template we've got for you next as well. So I wouldn't send this sort of campaign because you'll see on screen it refers to it as an outbound email. So this is something that you need to do. It's a one-to-one thing, not a bulk campaign through MailChimp or Bizink email marketing or something like that. Because if we're talking about outbound, it's, you know, people that don't know you yet, businesses that haven't opted in for your email newsletter, for example. So to use this medical example, you might go look up where some local doctors are, or you might be able to find a directory of certain businesses in your niche, that sort of stuff. And then you can reach out to them one-to-one because you know what they're going through, because you understand their pain points. That's the angle you go with there. So this time of year is probably a good time to do it as well. Tax can be a bit of a, you know, grudge purchase, right? Some may have just got a bill from their tax agent, they might not understand it, or you know, might not be getting value, like particularly like I'm saying, if they're not a specialist. So it could be a good time to reach out to them and let them know that you can help with, you know, obviously all the usual tax stuff, but, you know, maybe advice on how to grow their practice because you're a specialist, that sort of stuff, and all the other services you may have, you know, mentioned in your previous campaign as well. So that wraps up the 5 campaigns. We've just got a few more get my slide, sorry. I've given you the whole, you know, process for the email template, so you can literally copy and paste the templates that we're giving you. But I know that some of you are still too busy for that, right? It's still hard to, you know, get your email list and segment and all that sort of stuff. So just to recap, we can help you with that bit as well. All those pieces of the marketing puzzle on screen, plus the actual done for you marketing if you would like that, if you need help in that regard too. So if you want a website or need just a marketing platform or some content, we're happy to help. We can help with all these pieces. I'd be more than happy to show you around it if you want to book a meeting. Diane's just put a link in to book a demo and chat with me. If you're really stuck for time, let us know. We can send you like a recorded demo or a video if you'd prefer as well, particularly for some of our like content products too. But I've got a special offer for those of you here today. If you are interested in a website with Bizink, which includes a whole lot of this marketing done for you, these email templates in the back end, all that sort of stuff, you can get automated blogs publishing to social media, your newsletter automatically created, a whole lot of marketing in that leads to loyalty puzzle done for you. You can get $500 off the upfront fee of a website if you sign up before the end of financial year, 30th of June here in Australia. So we're going to be sending you a link to sign up or to check out our packages. I'd recommend you chat to me before you sign up for a website, but there's also a coupon code to use as well, which is FE 2022. Also, if you're interested in, you know, happy with your existing website, not looking to rebuild your website, then we can help you with our Client Hub product, which includes a lot of that same blogs, automated social media, newsletter, all that sort of stuff. I'd be happy to take you through. You can get your first month free if you sign up before 30th of June as well. That's for the Client Hub. And we also have a content pack, which is in the name, just content, like blogs written for you, resources that you can share with your clients, which actually really links in with the first 4, which is keeping in touch with clients and, you know, sharing valuable resources with them, becoming a valuable resource for them. So with the coupon code FE 2022 marketing, which Diane's putting all these coupons in for you there as well, you can get the first month free of that content pack. Bizink clients get these blogs and content already included in the back end of their website as well. So I hope that special offer is useful for you. Feel free to reach out to me if you would like to take advantage of that for our new clients. And we also have links to the Client Hub and Contact Pack. We'll send all these resources out in an email afterwards as well. I hope my goal was you could at least get one campaign done. I hope that you can do that. Let me know if there's one you want to start with and if you need a bit of a hand with that one at all. Obviously, we specialize in your profession, so we've seen a few people try these and do different tactics as well. So let us know if you need any help with that. I will just run one last poll as well, which is if you would like us to contact you about your marketing. You can let me know as well what sort of time suits you. If you're busy in the next couple of weeks, that's fine as well. Just let us know and we'll get in touch accordingly. So thanks very much everyone for your time today. We will stick around for a few more minutes for a Q&A. So if you have any questions for me at all, feel free to type them in the chat about those campaigns we've run through, or any marketing topic you might have a question about. Feel free to let us know. I just wanted to, we got a question earlier about our case study. So for that, we usually, this probably could be an extra campaign that you could run, alongside those first 4, or, in addition to, is asking for a case study referral. I'd probably do that if you got, maybe good feedback, or if you have a friendly client, would give you some good feedback. Let them know if you could have a quick chat with them and find out in their own words the results that you've got for them, and then basically type that up, or get that properly invest in a copywriter to get that written up properly, and then use that in your marketing and on your website. So they're really, really invaluable marketing tools to have on your website and to use in your marketing. What we usually do for that is to ask them, sort of paint a picture of before and after. So to ask them how they were managing things before you, and how it's going now, what sort of benefits they've seen. So you'll find those sorts of questions will be good to tease those things out. But at Bizink, we actually have a service now where we can do that for you. We can do the sort of interview or Zoom call like this to find out how that's gone, record that for you, write that up with our professional copywriters and add it to your website. Whether it's a Bizink site or your own, you can add that there as well. And then, of course, use that in your marketing. It's a really often evergreen marketing tool you can have as well. So thanks for sending through that question earlier. If anyone has any others, feel free to let me know now. Otherwise, I'll wrap up the session now, and we'll just see. Oh yeah, on screen you can see hello@bizinkonline.com. If you have any questions, feel free to just message me at any time, and I'll get back to you if we have a resource on any of it. But it looks like that's all the questions for today. So I'll wrap this up. Thank you very much to everyone who came along. We'll get in touch with you with other resources that we mentioned and the recording of all this. So please reach out if you have any questions at all.